Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tomato Tuesday. And I thought I would first show you the tomatoes in the night light with these new little fairy lights. And remember that tomato plants can have a little magic too. And with that, let's get into today's Q&A.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the Grow You Girl channel. I'm Sherry, and I am here with my tomatoes back here on Tomato Tuesday. And like I said in the intro, this week is all about ideas that calm you. And nothing calms me more than tomatoes. I just love tomatoes. And even when they have no fruit on them, or vegetable, whichever you prefer to call them, as we've talked about before, they're considered both really. I still love the smell of them. I love the beauty of the leaves themselves. Tomato plants are awesome. And today we're going to do a little Q&A, and I thought I would bring to you some of the questions that come to me. And then if you have more questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I also ask that you subscribe and keep the momentum going. Again, this week we're talking about things in the garden that calm you, and we'll be getting into chamomile and some other herbs and different things this week because we all could use a little calming down about right now. Don't you think? I do. Why are my tomato plants growing tall but not producing fruit? This is usually due to too much nitrogen and not enough sunlight or pollination. And for those of you who know me well, I am not a scientist kind of a person. Very much the opposite. But what I can tell you is this. One of the things you want to do is to try pruning your suckers off, right? Make sure that you know, so like there's the V in the tomato, and there's just the little, it's kind of weird, the little growth that starts to happen right there. You just want to pluck that out and take it out. So that is the one thing. You also want to make sure that you've got enough sunlight. As I look up here, we've got trees that are to this side, or right behind where the camera is. But what that does is keep it cooler in the hot summer afternoon. And it's a hot one here today, here on June 10th. And we got to 88 degrees today. But then it keeps it cooler in the afternoon, but they get plenty of sunlight to be sure. And I have to watch these aspen trees too, and sometimes I have to clip them back a little bit. And then the other piece of that is pollination. Make sure they're getting pollination from each other. I've got basil that I've put, experimenting a little bit this year. I shared that last week, is that I've got basil at the base of the tomato plants because I've heard that's a really good pollinator, but I also on the other side of the bed. And just to let you know, I'm kind of on the back side of the bed because I wanted you to see the garden behind me. I hope that you can see that. And there's so much pollination going on throughout the garden that they're not here by themselves. I have found over the years, whenever I've planted a tomato plant all by its lonesome, it just doesn't it doesn't get the yield that these get here with the pollination around them. And also, if you're getting too much nitrogen, I made a note about this. You might be using the nitrogen in a fertilizer you are using might be too high. I have always, not always, but the last few years, I have really recommended True Organics. I am not sponsored by them at all, but I've just found that they have a nice balance, a low balance of nitrogen, and but I really love compost. Compost, a good organic compost, is something you should always have on hand around your garden. As I've shared in the past, we usually get one big trailer load every year. I just don't do my own compost because I kind of leave compost to the compost professionals, if you know what I'm saying. And that, you know, sometimes, because especially if you put like your kitchen scraps straight onto the plants themselves, you could be putting too much nitrogen into that. So that's one thing that you just want to be really cognizant of. And if in doubt, ask ChatGPT. What am I doing wrong? Number two is, how can I tell when my tomatoes are ready to harvest? And I think that's really trial or error, right? That they've got to be the color they're supposed to be. So whether it's a red, yellow, whatever color, they are is just make sure they're firm but kind of soft. If they're too hard, like I got some this weekend at the farmer's market and I thought, oh, they'd be fine. But when I slice them open, they're like hard on the inside. There's no flavor. I was really bummed out because I spent whatever ridiculous amount of money for them. So yeah, so just take one off. You'll test them, right, to see if it's ready or not. And they should come off pretty easy. They're ready to go, you know, easy to the twist. So we'll be playing around with that in the weeks to come. Do I need to water my tomatoes every day? I do. I just, especially now that summer is feeling like it's really here, and we've been having a lot of rain. So of course we turn our system off when it's raining. But now that it's not raining, we water them 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. And that seems to work really well. And we have, as I've shared before, we have sprinklers that are, our drip is going straight into the root of these plants. We do not have them on a long drip system. They actually have, each of these tomato plants has a sprinkler head that goes into each one of them, and it seems to work really well. And again, you'll start to see if it's not happy. What do you need to adjust? Again, tomato suckers, if you've got them, they're just, you know, there's the V in the tomato stem, and you would just pluck that right out of there. That is how you take care of those suckers. And then the last one we'll go for today, just to keep these short and sweet, is why are the leaves on my tomato plants turning yellow? And usually it is because of you could be overwatering, so just watch that and monitor. Again, could be having a lack of sunlight. See what that is happening with that. Really watch the sun as it comes over every day, and how many hours. They should be getting 6 to 8, ideally, hours of sunlight every single day. And then, you know, you might need to do a nutrient, a nitrogen fertilizer to help with that a little bit. And again, I do that maybe every 2 weeks, compost once a month. I keep that compost handy, but they seem to love the compost the most, honestly. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. So let's keep calm. Let's carry on. Let's keep our tomato plants healthy, keep ourselves healthy in the process. And I look forward to seeing you in more videos this week, and definitely next Tuesday for Tomato Tuesday. All right, my friends, that's it. Let's grow.
Thanks for growing with us, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video, and then of course be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.